everybody, welcome back. I am now going to do the mac and cheese with cauliflower recipe, and I'm doubling the recipe. So I will try and make this as close as possible. And before I start, my banana bread is done.
Mom. Sorry, Mom,
You're okay.
but I need to wait on my dinner.
That's nice. So I will let that, it's been sitting here cooling for a little bit, and that's fine. So I'll cool that a little bit longer. And then later I'll pop it out and bag it or whatever and all that. So that's finished. My baking is done for a while. Yay. I actually don't mind baking. I like it. Okay, so in this recipe, you take a 9x13 dish. Make sure it is sprayed or greased. So there you go. I have that all prepped. My oven is at, it says 375 in the recipe, but like I said, my oven needs to go lower, so I have it at 350, and that's pretty enough for it to bake on. Alright, and also, they say for the cauliflower to take a whole head of cauliflower, and it's supposed to be at 375, which before, now I did 350, I think I did 350. I did the cauliflower ahead of time because it was time consuming, and I also chopped my onions up because that was time consuming. I grated my cheese. So I did all the things that were a little bit time consuming. I even boiled my noodles because that was going to take some time too, which I had extra, but that's okay. I can use it for something else. I don't mind. Another meal, another day. Anyway, I put the cauliflower, chopped it up. It says in little flowerlets. You can see. Hopefully you can see the size here. Maybe it's better if I do it in the light more. I don't know. Anyway, I cut up the whole, cauliflower into flowerlets. I put it on a baking sheet. I spread all around it. It filled this up full. This was covered. And I drizzled some olive oil, and then I sprinkled some salt, and I put a little bit of pepper, because I'm not big on pepper. Some people are, some people aren't. I put it in the oven, and it took, I put it on for like, I think, at least, the timer says 15 minutes, the timer says 20 to 25. I put it on for 15, and needless to say, I forgot to turn the timer on. I did put the 15, but I forgot to put the timer because I was supposed to do something else that day, and I was kind of, needed to go leave at a certain time. So good thing my husband was home. He checked it for me and pulled it out and stuff. So anyway, you want to cook it until it's slightly browned. And so we did that, and honestly, I love the way this tastes. I don't think I will ever steam cauliflower again. This tasted so good, chopping it up and putting it in the oven and roasting it. My taste buds were like, whoa, this is great. This tastes wonderful. So I might just, you know, do this with cauliflower again. It was delicious. So I'm going to put that away. I'm not going to use it anymore. But that's what I did with cauliflower. So that's prepped. My dish is prepped. My oven's prepped. So I'm going to go ahead and start. It says to, in a large bowl, which I already did the cauliflower. In a large pot, which is this my pot. I had a smaller one, but I was like, you know what? This probably, the sauce won't fit since I'm doubling the recipe and I didn't want to take any chances. So instead of using my largest saucepan, I'm using my non-stick. So hopefully I won't go wrong with a non-stick. But in a large pot, I'm going to melt 6 tablespoons. It's originally 3, but since I'm doubling, it's 6. 6 tablespoons of, on medium heat, of unsalted butter. Now because it's unsalted, you'll obviously want to salt it. So I'm going to wait for that to melt down a little bit, and then I'm going to salt it. And my flour. And then right here in this part, I am going to add my, just a second here, I need to click over, my 4 teaspoons, or no, two garlic cloves, I can't even talk right now, 2 garlic cloves, excuse me, of minced, they have to be minced. So I have my container here. And I like this stuff. This is fresh and everything. I don't like taking the raw garlic and chopping it up and then cooking it up. So I got my minced garlic here and everything. And I believe Other people might have a different opinion about this, but I really believe that 1/4 teaspoon is equivalent to 1 clove of garlic, like just the part that you peel off and it's by itself. I think that 1/4 teaspoon is equivalent to that amount, 1 clove of garlic. So I'm going to use that, 4 times. So it says 2 cloves, and since I'm doing 1/4, I'm just going to do it, since I'm doubling it, that way I'll be able to taste it. If you're all fans of Rachel Ray, she loves doing lots of garlic. I think at one point somebody said you can smell the garlic out of her pores. I don't know if it's true or not. Never met her, but I don't mind garlic. I just don't want it like you bite into it, it's like, whoa, somebody loves garlic. I don't like it overpowering. I like it in food at a reasonable amount. So, okay, I'm going to let this melt, and once it melts, like I said, the salt. Here's my salt. And then when I'm going to add the garlic, the onions. I think that's something else too, I can't remember. Look at my screen here. Onions, right here, chop those up, and this is a half of, it says half sweet onion minced. So I took a little over a half and I chopped it up. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then, so I'm going to put my garlic, my onions, and I'm going to cook that 4 to 5 minutes until they're translucent, transparent, translucent. I think it's the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and add my salt because my butter is about halfway, about halfway melted. So I'm going to do about 1 teaspoon's worth. I don't know about my salt, so I'm going to just go ahead and put it over here. There we go. Add my way. So, alright. Eventually I'm going to need my whisk because I'm going to need my whisk because I am going to make at one point very soon a roux. And for those of you who don't know how to make a roux or don't know what it is, it's salt, you melt it down, add flour, a certain amount, the same amount of flour as you do the butter, I believe. If you do 1 teaspoon of butter, you need to do 1 teaspoonful of flour. You make sure the butter is completely melted, and if it's unsalted, salt it. If it's salted, don't worry about it. Put 1 tablespoon of flour in, stir that up real good, make sure the flour's all blended in with the butter. And my brother said if it smells like nuts, or if it's a little bit like a golden brown, a little bit less than a golden brown, it's done. And then you add, once the flour's like that, then you add milk, about maybe a cup's worth of milk, and you keep stirring it. You can add garlic to this, you can add cheese to this, and eventually you'll have a sauce. So the roux is the butter and flour. I think I can see how many piles are in here. Okay, there we go. I got 1 extra bit of dirt. Sissy, what are you doing, honey?
I'm trying to get a new dish
Okay.
for my dinner.
Okay.
For my dinner.
All right, sounds good. I need to keep track of her sometimes. When she's quiet, it's not a good thing. My son, when he's quiet, is fine, but my daughter's complete opposite of my son. Okay, so we're... Sorry about the banging noise. Sometimes you gotta bang to get food off. Alright, I'm going to use the spoon. Stir it up. It's starting to smell good already. I'm excited about this dish. I really am. I mean, who doesn't like mac and cheese? Kids love it. Some adults I know love it. And it's easy to make. It really is. I mean, it sounds like it's a challenge. I don't know how many people out there buy store-bought from the box with the powder and everything. know I've done it I've eaten it a few times growing up. Actually even made it a few times when I was an adult, but honestly, I would prefer to just spend the time and make a good meal for my family at home. And one of the meals that is really nice to do at home and easy is mac and cheese. It's something you can also make a lot of and eat it more than once. So, alright. That is good. Add garlic, we did. Took 1 minute or more. Okay, add the flour. Alright, we're going to do now the flour. And we need to do 6 tablespoons of flour. And this is where the root part comes in, because I have my garlic and onions in here. So I have my 2 tablespoons of flour, of my measurement here. And so I'm just doing 2, 4, so I'm doubling it. This recipe requires 3 tablespoons. So I'm doing 2, 4, 6. So I'm doubling that to 6. Make sure all the flour is blended in with the butter. And then add the milk. And that's what makes the sauce. I'm doing the milk. Whole milk. We buy whole milk. So I'm doing 4.5. It's 2.5, but I'm doubling it to 4.5. And it says stir constantly because you don't want it to burn. Because if you let roux sit with the butter and the flour, it can burn easily if you're not careful. Especially if you have it too high, which is why I've been adjusting the temperature. I have it to medium to a little bit below medium. So you just want to be careful and keep an eye on it. Alright, so that is the consistency I want. You want to see it? Hopefully you can see that. Enough light. I'm sorry if there's not enough. It's sliding all around on me. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to add my... Oh well. I'm going to do this. Use what you have with the measuring you have. 1. And it usually sizzles when I put it in, but this time it didn't because I have it lower. Sometimes I have it a little bit too high. 2. I wish I had a 2-cup measuring cup, 3, so that I can double this quicker, but it's holding something else. 4, and I'm going to do my half real quick. Okay. 2 drops left. Alright, now I'm going to take my whisk first to make sure, let's try something now. Make sure this gets blended really good first before I go back to using my spoon. You don't want clumps in it. Okay. Now, it says after you add the milk, whisking to incorporate, which I'm whisking, I whisk. Now I'm bringing the sauce to a simmer and cook until it thickens. So it's 2 to 3 minutes approximately, and then I'm going to take it off the heat. And then they cook the noodles after this, but I already did that. So I have everything else prepped, but I am going to probably add some of the stuff. I have a bowl here that I have my noodles already poured into, because I cooked them already. And so I'm going to go ahead and do whatever the rest of the instructions say. After I do this part, after I wait for it to thicken, okay. Now it says, put the sauce back on the stove top, over medium heat, stir in the cheese. So I'm going to stir in the cheese next. I have my cheese over there. I'm going to stir my cheese in because I want cheesy sauce. It says to put white cheese in, but we don't buy white cheese, the white cheddar cheese. We buy the orange. So this is going to be orange. So I need to, so I think it's all incorporated in the bottom. I don't see any, yep, I'm pretty sure it is. Alright. You know what, if you're going along and you taste it, which I'm going to do with this little spoon, taste it, and if you don't, if it doesn't taste like there's like enough garlic or salt or something, you can always add more because it's still cooking. It's always a good idea to add more seasoning while it's still cooking because the seasonings cook. The seasonings cook. So that's what my husband told me anyway, and actually I found out to be true because I bit into some food I cooked, and he goes, "Honey, did you cook that?" I said, "No." Was I supposed to? He goes, yeah. It kind of made our stomachs a little bit upset later because I didn't cook it, so I was like, oops. So anyway, you live and learn every day. Just because you're done with school doesn't mean you're done learning for life. Even after I was done with college, I was still learning. I still am. So, alright.
Mommy.
Yes, honey.
I'm doing my video.
Oh, nice. Let's bring out the flavor more. That is getting good. This is really going to be yummy. I think my kids and me and my husband are really going to enjoy this. I'm glad I'm making this in a bulk. It's really delicious. Alright. It's not thickened yet, so I might need to turn up a little bit more. I don't think it'll hurt. I'll send, if you turn on for a second, I'll send you, do something else. There's been times I've seen it, I'm like, okay, not quite thick, so I turn on and do something. It's been longer than what I thought. And I turn back around, I'm like, ooh, that's thick. That was quick. I just ran thick quick. Huh. Maybe I've been reading too much Dr. Seuss to my kids. I don't know. My son's learning rhyming words in school, so maybe it's rubbing off on me a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so when that's ready, ooh, now it looks like it's starting to really thicken. Or is it just the, no, it's starting to thicken. You can see the evidence on my spoon. Right there a little bit. And this recipe originally, just to let you know, this original recipe doesn't have any protein added to it, except, you know, I don't know how many people consider cheese a protein. It's more like a fat. But there are recipes out there that do that. They consider cheese a fat, or a protein. But because it didn't have any originally in it, I added chicken because my family likes protein in the dish. Just a moment. Yes! Yes, honey.
Do you hear that airplane?
I think it's a helicopter.
No, it's an airplane.
Okay. Can you see it?
No, because the sun is in the way and
All right. So I'm going to bring the cheese over here.
it's way up in the sky.
can be, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to see the airplane.
Yeah, it can be, huh?
Well, the sun is really bright and it is hurting my eyes.
Well, don't look in through the window the wrong way. You're probably looking through the window the wrong way. All right. How about cheese back here? Cuts down on when you're standing, instead of standing there grating the cheese in front of you, it's like, okay, when's she gonna be done? Da, da, da.
Oh, and that is
So I was trying to think ahead just for your sake. All right. See how it's doing. Okay, this is getting bigger. Once I add the cheese, I'm going to stir the cheese till it's melted, and then add the nutmeg. And to be honest, I don't know how many of you have added nutmeg to macaroni cheese. It just sounded good. It actually is in the recipe. And so I never added nutmeg, but I've thought of it before. But nutmeg can be a very delicate ingredient at times, and if you add too much, it can be like, whoa, that's overpowering, or where is it? You know, I don't taste it at all. So it can be either or. I am going to add it this one time. Hopefully it'll be good. I'm going to taste test this whole dish after I'm done, after it's done baking, and hopefully it will be really good. I'm very curious to see how it tastes. So, and this says 1/4 teaspoon. So because it's doubled, I'm going to add the doubled recipe, the 1/2 teaspoon. So we'll see how it comes out. I'm not trying to sound nervous, I'm just, you know, it's kind of different. So. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and add it. Now this looks like a lot of cheese to me because I'm used to using a little portion. But because I am doubling it, it's going to be a lot. It's like if you're working in a catering company or a cafeteria or something, or even when you're at a camp, you need to make sure that you have enough. I mean, you look at it, you're like, whoa. It's like, okay, how many people are we feeding here, and how far do we want this to stretch? You can always make it for another day. You can always, you know, divide it up later on. So these tips are for you, Sarah. And anybody else who's interested. Now it's thickening on me. I knew it would after I added the cheese. Okay, now we're going to put, I'm going to turn this down because it's really, okay, remove it from the burner, which I did. I'm going to do that, which is a good idea. I don't need that anymore. Now I'm going to do this 1/4 twice, and I don't need that end. I'm going to open the spoon end, level it out. That makes it smell so good. I wonder if I should stop at that. Whew. I'll add a pinch more. Okay, that's about a pinch. Alright. Okay, now add nutmeg. salt and pepper. It's interesting how glad I didn't add a whole 2 teaspoons actually, or half teaspoon. Looks enough this way. And I can smell it. I can smell the 1/4 only, so. This is gonna be hot, but I'm gonna try it. Good, I was told good cooks, good chefs always taste as they go along. Smell it, but yeah, you can't really taste it. Or maybe it's just, you know, the kind of ingredient that doesn't hit you until like later, after the bite. It's like, oh, now I taste it. Okay. Yes, I changed my mind. I'm going to add the other part of this. So, all right. Okay. When you're cooking, you can change your mind. Alright, I'm going to do my salt to taste. Okay, because honestly, I think it does need more. And my pepper, which I was wondering where that came in. I'm not going to use a whole lot because I don't like a lot of pepper. I've never been a fan of pepper. I do now tolerate it only because my husband snuck in white pepper when he was cooking, and I didn't know he did it. It was like years later he told me, he was like, oh, by the way, honey, yeah, I snuck white pepper in the food. I'm like, what? So, but you know what? It's alright. I eat a little bit now, so that's how it is. I never ever was a fan of spicy food, and to me growing up, pepper was spicy. So I was just like, you know what? I just don't like hot sauce. I don't like hot peppers. I like bell peppers because they're not spicy. But I do not like spicy food. Black pepper to me is spicy. There's other stuff that I've been into. It's like, oh, that tastes spicy. Or, you know, you find that little part of the pepper later in your teeth or something. You're like, and you're like, oh, that's hot. Yeah, I didn't do well with those moments. Okay.
Mommy, the dinner's ready for you.
Well, I'm kind of in the middle of something, honey.
Okay, I'll wait for you.
Thank you. That's good. That's really good. We're doing salt and pepper to taste. Now we're going to put the pasta in. Oops. Maybe I better pour in this. I don't know. Pouring this in. Like I said, it's already cooked and drained. So it's been sitting for a little bit. Okay, I'm turning it down to low. And I'm going to add, I think I had something else with this. Pasta and cauliflower. Yep, there it is. There's the cauliflower. Yummy, yummy cauliflower. From burn low, so maybe you can get it. There we go. Better view of it. See? Put the milk away real quick. Don't want it sitting out too long. Toss it well to coat. All right, tossed it well to coat. Okay, now we're gonna pour it in this. Turn this off. After I pour it into here, it can be refrigerated if you want to, and then add the topping later, but I made the topping. It's, excuse me, this originally says breadcrumbs, but I didn't do breadcrumbs. Let me pour this in here real quick and I'll explain the topping, because I really need to get this in this dish. Woo! Wow. That will last us. Well, but that's the whole point of making it. Okay. All right. And wash this stuff right away. All right. There is my very full mac and cheese with cauliflower, roasted cauliflower. And the main part, so then it says, after I put it in the dish, you can refrigerate it. Now I made the topping, which I did. This has a cup's worth, because originally it's half cup. I didn't have breadcrumbs, so I took saltine crackers. I crunched them up really good in, I think it was a little over 2 teaspoons of salt, salted butter. Melted it, put the saltine crackers in, crumbling them over top, and it originally says Parmesan cheese, which I did put it in, like 1/4. It said 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, but I grated some cheddar cheese over top of it first after I mixed the saltine crackers and the butter together. I put the cheddar cheese in here. It's like maybe between a 1/4 cup and a half cup I put in. Maybe not even that, probably 1/4 cup. But I put that in, and then I put the Parmesan cheese over, mixed it up. So that's what the topping is. That's what all this put in that bowl is. It smells really good too. I love saltine crackers on top of stuff. It just, I don't know, I like it better than breadcrumbs. I don't know why. You might have a preference more, you like breadcrumbs over saltine crackers any day. But that's fine. That's your preference. Everybody has the freedom of preference. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I had this in my 9x13, the oven on 350, and it says to bake until the sauce is bubbly. Oh, dipping my arm in something in that measuring cup. Sprinkle this in an even layer over the pasta and cauliflower. So I'm going to take this and do an even layer. Stop. Now, I don't think I'll be able to show you guys this after it's all cooked, but I will show you what it looks like after I have the topping on. But I guarantee you guys that this is going to be really good. Especially the roasted cauliflower and stuff. It just sounds so delicious. And I know cauliflower probably most likely doesn't have a lot of vitamins in it. But you know what? If the kids can't see the vegetable, they won't know they're eating it. So that's why I'm sneaking it in here. Alright, so we're done with that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? And you probably noticed it too. I forgot to add my chicken. I'm going to have to somehow, you're thinking, you didn't add the chicken, and now you're going to have to add it now. How are you going to add it? It's a very good question because my chicken was behind me on the counter, and I totally forgot about it. But you know what? I'm going to put it over top, and I think this is about 2 cups worth of chicken. I cooked it in oil, and I put salt on it. I cooked it in canola oil, I think, and I put it boy, this is going to be really full. I'm going to have to put it on a cookie sheet. Wow. Okay, well, too much for the pretty top. But you know what? If you forget something, you got to improvise. Just mix it in inside this. Just kind of fold it in like you're doing bread dough almost. Just fold it in. Kind of tuck it as you're going along. Do what you can do to get all your ingredients in that you want. It may not look pretty, but it's going to taste the same. And you do not cover it. And I don't think I'm going to need to, but I will put it under a baking sheet so that it won't spill. So, I don't want my oven to be any more dirty than it already is. I really have to clean my oven, and since we rent, you know, there's people that use an oven, they don't clean it. Now I need to. So, oven light is off. Getting my big baking sheet, and it will definitely be room enough. I thought I had my hot pads out already. Do I not? Oh yeah, there. Right there. Sorry about the loud noise. Alright. Oh, I told you I would show you, didn't I? I'm going to try and show you as best I can without tipping it because it's really full. It's up to the brim. Like I said, it doesn't look pretty, but you know what? When you're doing it for your family, it really doesn't matter how pretty it looks. Because my husband, like my husband said, it's all about the taste. Alright, so this needs to cook 25 to 30 minutes. Whew. And the sauce is pretty much all I figured. They just want it to be a little bit thicker and bubbly. So do 25 to 30 minutes, which I better put the timer on now. I'm going to check it at 25. Start, so I don't forget. 45 to 50 is baking after you refrigerate it. So it's going to be colder. But they recommend you serve it immediately. Now because I'm freezing this, and because of how much it is, and how thick it is, like yay tall, so that's awesome. I have a lot here for, oh well, I have a lot here for our family, so I am going to determine, I might cut it into 3 sections, put it in a Ziploc bag, because when it's cooled off and everything, unless I just want to put it in the freezer with the dish, but I don't want my dish to be cracked unless I cool my dish completely, and then I put it in the freezer. But I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. So I think I'm gonna let it cool a little bit, and then I'll cut it. And I might even, if I can, maybe not. I was thinking I could wrap it up in like some kind of foil or something, whatever, but honestly, when it comes to mac and cheese, how do you keep the shape? I mean, it's sauce and noodles and cheese and everything, so it doesn't really keep a shape. It doesn't really keep its form like Jell-O does. So I might just cut it in thirds and then put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer that way, because that's really the only thing I can do, because I do not have containers big enough. So I either need to go out and get some more containers that will store in bulk if I plan to keep continuing this, or I need to just use Ziploc bags, you know, keep using them. So I'm hoping that my idea works. You know, you do whatever works for your family. It's different for everybody. So anyway, you can let me know in the comments down below how you freeze big bulks of meals and what works for you. And maybe you have tipped a long way. I would like to hear about it and see what your opinion is. See how you do this kind of thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me. I know it was quite a lengthy video, but I'm hoping that you enjoyed it, and if you decide to make this, I hope it's just as wonderful for you, or even more, for you and your family. So, anyway, please, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free, and I hope that we will see you again in the next video, and you enjoy watching us. Alright, you guys take care, and my weekend's going to start tomorrow because my son doesn't have school. I know having kids at home doesn't sound like you have a weekend, but oh well, it does to me, because whenever all my children are home, it just feels like a weekend. My husband has to go in to work for a little bit. Hopefully he won't have to be long, but it is what it is. So anyway, we will talk to you guys later, and you take care. See you later. Bye.
You didn't say please subscribe.